At university, I trained myself to be able to study with 100% focus for an average about 8 hours a day, increasing to 12 hours a day during the exam period. Although I would never recommend studying 12 hours a day as a long-term strategy, as I'll explain later on in the video. But the problem I see often is that you can be studying long hours, the whole day even, but if you're not focused on what you're learning and you're not processing and retaining your study material because you keep getting distracted, then essentially you're wasting your time. So in this video, I'm going to go through how I went from struggling to stay focused when studying for even 15 minutes at a time, I would get distracted so quickly, to being able to concentrate for a full 12 hours with just a few breaks in between. This is something that I've been thinking about quite a lot recently. The difference between what would be called an average student and a high performance student, and what makes an average student average and what makes a high performance student high performance. I've realized that the first hour of the day, what I'm going to call the golden hour, is kind of what determines how your day will turn out. So whether you have a productive day or an unproductive day, it is influenced heavily on what you do in the first hour of the day. So let me explain. When my alarm clock goes off in the morning but I keep hitting the snooze button and I finally wake up and I spend 30 minutes scrolling through social media, I then slowly go and shower and have breakfast, watch Netflix for a bit, then 2 hours after waking up, I finally leave the house. It's very likely that that slow energy and momentum will carry on throughout the day. On the other hand, let's say I wake up early, I get straight out of bed, I get ready, I go straight to my task list and see what tasks I need to complete first, and I have a very productive morning. Then, of course, I'm likely to have a productive day too. It's this golden hour in the morning, the 1 hour after waking up, that often determines whether I'm going to have a productive day or not. And I see this a lot with the students that I coach. The high performance students live their lives with urgency. They have things to do, people to see, goals to achieve, and so their actions match that. It's like when you start working your graduate job and you'll have key performance indicators or KPIs to read. You probably have a manager keeping an eye on your performance. So for every hour that you work, the company is investing money in you, so naturally they want you to work at a decent speed. So if you're working slow and you're not reaching your KPIs and just your general demeanor is slow and lethargic, then it's very likely that your manager will pull you into their office and have a word with you and ask you to speed up. The thing about being a student is that students don't have a manager like you would have in a workplace, right? They don't have a manager to keep track of their performance and to apply that bit of extra pressure to speed up their performance. So essentially, you have to be your own manager. You have to be regularly monitoring yourself and be asking, was I productive today? Was I working as fast as I could have been? Or did I take it easy and just let the day slip by? Because I've noticed that this is one of the main difference between what you might call an average student and a high performance student. So a high performance student doesn't need a manager to be looking over their shoulder when they're studying. They can kind of manage themselves. They can motivate themselves. And once you learn how to do this and how to manage yourself properly, it's an absolutely indispensable skill to have, not only as a student, but in the working environment too. Like Henry Ford once said, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. You must develop a sense of urgency in the pursuit to transform your grades. You must step up your efforts in life if you wish to level up and live a life that is based on your own terms, not on those dictated by other people. Your dreams can be transformed into reality only when you put in hard work and dedication. Apart from you yourself, no one else can stop you from being extraordinary. If others have done it, then so can you. So you can take initiative or laze around in bed all day. You're the one who has to make that choice and live with its consequences. If you are determined to live with urgency, you will know that you do not have the time in your day that you can just waste. If your goal is to stand out from those around you, then you will choose to live differently when urgency is the driving force behind you. You look at every hour as an opportunity to do something new, to become a better person. Now, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that you probably don't need to be studying for 12 hours a day every day in order to get really good grades, right? You need to study how to study. You need to learn how to study smart. So I made 2 courses on Skillshare, which you can access for free, going through exactly how you can do that, on how to maximize your time so you're studying as efficiently as possible, meaning that you can essentially study fewer hours, right? So I have 2 1-hour 40-minute classes, not just a short 10-minute video like I have on YouTube, but these are in-depth courses going through topics such as advanced information processing and Pareto principle. And by the way, if you're not implementing the Pareto principle into your studying strategy, then you absolutely should. But just in general, Skillshare classes tend to be far higher quality with better teaching. It's crazy value for money considering that you can access all of my Skillshare courses essentially for free, because the first 1,000 subscribers to click on the link in the description will get 1 month free trial of Skillshare. I think everyone should have a plan of the content that they need to learn before their exams. So a study plan is so important when it comes to achieving decent grades, but also when it comes to things like stress management and staying focused. It's easy to kind of get distracted when we're studying if we don't have a plan to follow, or we don't have a schedule or an endpoint in sight. So I was in a coaching call with one of my students earlier this week, and she was panicking because she had her exams in 10 months. Now, 10 months usually is a relatively long time to prepare for exams, right? However, this student hadn't studied much for the last few months, therefore her workload had piled up, so understandably, she was feeling a little bit stressed. So on the coaching call, we spent about 2 hours going through every single assignment that she had to hand in, and all the course material that she had to learn, and then the exam dates. So she gave me 3 pieces of information: all the material she needs to learn, all the assignment deadlines, and all her exam dates. Then we plotted this information onto a study plan. This is the annual study plan that I created for her on Microsoft Excel when we were on the call, and as you can see, I spread out her workload evenly throughout the entire year, up until her exam dates. So she had 4 topics to study for: maths, economics, business, and literature. And what I did was I assigned about 2 assignments for her to do per month, and 2 modules to learn per month at the beginning of the year. Now, this is suddenly more manageable, right? Mentally saying I have 2 assignments a month to write is a lot more manageable than saying I have 12 assignments to write in 6 months. And as she completes each assignment and learns each module, she ticks it off so she can see exactly what she has left to do that month. And just as a side note, there are 4 modules highlighted in red. These are when this student has her mock exams, so I made sure that she had learned every module before each mock exam. Now, her final exams are at the end of June, so I made sure that firstly all her assignments are completed well before her exams, because I wanted her assignments to be completely submitted and finished with by February. So from March, she can start focusing entirely on her exams. So her exams are in June, so by May all of her modules should be learned, and technically by May, in theory, she should be ready for her exams. And this part is important because with her course, it's quite unique in that she can actually choose when to submit her assignments, as long as they're all submitted before June. And I can bet that there are a whole load of students that would wait until June to submit their assignments, right? But it's the worst thing that they can do here, because you don't want to be writing your assignments at the same time as you're having to revise for your exams. So then we have May and June, which is the review period. And this is where she needs to go through all the modules once again and make sure that all the information is fresh in her mind. And this is a really important period of time, the 1 or 2 months before her exams, where she can test herself and fill in any gaps of knowledge she may have, and just generally make sure that she's prepared. Now, did you notice how I made sure that she had learned all the material for her exams 2 months before her exam date? And the reason for that is twofold. Firstly, things come up, right? We get sick, or we become particularly unproductive for a month, or we go on holiday. These kind of setbacks have to be taken into account when making your study plan. So even if she falls behind in her study plan, it's okay, there's still some wiggle room in there. However, to really excel in her studies, I advised her to absolutely stick to the plan, because those last 2 months, the review period, is absolutely crucial when it comes to getting extremely high grades. The month before an exam is usually when most students are cramming in their studying and trying to learn all the material, but if you have enough time for a 1 or 2 month period to make sure that you know 100% of the content, that can be an incredibly powerful position to be in. Throughout university, I really wasn't stressed at all. I genuinely can't remember a time throughout university that I was properly stressed. And I'm not saying that to kind of brag or show off, but I just want to kind of illustrate how effective something as simple as a study plan can be, because I wasn't stressed, so I could actually enjoy my studying. I could in some ways just take my time, and I think looking back now, it's a major factor of why I enjoyed my studying so much at university. I had a really good experience at university because I knew that I was on schedule. I kind of had peace of mind that an unexpected assignment wasn't going to spring up on me, or an exam was coming that I wasn't prepared for. And chances are, when an exam came around the corner, I had been preparing for it and studying for it for months ahead of time. A study plan helped me kind of stay focused and know exactly what I needed to do that day. It gave me almost like a roadmap of where I was heading, and it kept me motivated because I knew that if I didn't study that day, I'd probably have twice the amount of work to cover the next day. So if you haven't created a study plan, I highly recommend you do. You might just be surprised how much it changes your whole studying experience. And if you'd like more tips and strategies on how to study more efficiently, I made a video, 7 ways I study smart, not hard. You can click on the card on the screen. Alternatively, I made another video on why you struggle to stay focused on one task. Again, you can can click on the card on the screen, and for more in-depth study training, my Skillshare courses are available for free with the 1 month free trial, link in the description below.